Hi, this is Political News in 5, and today is June 12th, 2022. I'm Aisha Osori. Happy Democracy Day, or more accurately, happy end of overt military rule. Now, what a week it's been, and I feel like I've been saying that for a few weeks now. But first, the APC presidential primaries and the emergence of Tinubu as the flag bearer. Boy, did I get that wrong. In my February 6th episode of Political News in 5, I actually say that there are three main contenders. One, Emeka Wadriba, who was Minister of State for Education. Two, former President Goodluck Jonathan. And three, Rotimi Amechi. Jonathan was a non-starter. Emeka got one vote, and only Amechi came close. And even then, Tinubu beat him by 955 votes. So Amechi got 316 votes, and Tinubu got 1,271. So aside from the egg on my face, what I'm also realizing is that when you're doing political analysis, you should also always leave room for the unexpected, especially since politics is so much like drama. And with drama, people are likely to go off script. Now, the decision to do indirect primaries and taking consensus off the table was definitely a change in scripts that helped Tinubu to emerge as the candidate. Now, cash for delegates, cash for aspirants aside, there are three things that I think were interesting about the emergence of Tinubu and about how we might see things developing around the elections and around just future of our political culture. The first is the stepping down culture. Now, we saw a bit of this during the APC convention in March to select the party officials, and we saw it again last week. Now, Akpabio stepping down, for example, for Tinubu makes sense. He has 69 delegates from Akwa Ibom that he could be giving up something more than the symbolic. And it reminded me of what I'd heard about the role that Kwankwaso played during the PDP presidential primaries, where apparently he gave his Kano delegates, even though he had moved to NNPP, he still controlled the PDP Kano delegates and he gave them up to Wike. For me, I expect that this was purely transactional, and it's a role that I see Kwankwaso playing in the 2023 elections, where he controls a huge population in Kano. Now, some people say this is a spoiler, some people say this is blackmail. The bottom line is it's typically quite transactional. And then the second flip side of the stepping down was just those who stepped down who had no electoral value, at least on the day of the primaries. People like the sole female candidate Uju Ohananye, former governor Amosun, and Dimeji Bankole. Very likely to have gotten 0 votes because they didn't control any delegates. Now, one has to wonder, did they spend $250,000 merely to do this, or were they put up to it? Was this entire charade orchestrated to give a sense of inevitability and support to the person who would become the flag bearer? And that brings me to the second thing. In politics, of course, there's a lot of psychological warfare going on, and this sense of, oh, this is inevitable, don't be the loser, join the winning bandwagon. And we hear that a lot. We hear people say, I don't want to waste my vote, I want to vote for the winner. The truth is that doesn't make any sense. You will waste your vote until you vote for the person you want. It's the votes that makes the person the winner. So, anyway, I think we should watch out for that during the campaigns and resist it. And then third, just the element of betrayal on that day. Whoa, most people focus on the relationship between Oshibajo and Tinubu, but there's quite a lot of other backstabbing that was going on there. Apparently, Amechi was quite instrumental to Badaru, the governor of Jigawa, being the governor, and he stepped down for Tinubu. I think he was even the first person to step down, sort of opening the floodgates. And for Shibajo camp, they were expecting Fayemi to be for them. I think even as of the day of, and in the end, Fayemi also stepped down for Tinubu. So another lesson is that the enemy of your enemy is not necessarily your friend. And then second, who is going to be Tinubu's vice president? There's a lot riding on that. There are a few kites being flown about a Muslim ticket, which seems practical and inevitable, especially if he's promised almost all the northern governors that they will be his running mate. What I find most interesting is that APC is exactly where it was in 2014. So it seems that the party of change cannot change. What do I mean? 2014, the ticket, the winning coalition was based on a possible Muslim ticket of Buhari and Tinubu. And now again in 2022, there's a sense of, Tinubu plus X. And in 2014, that promise, that understanding was betrayed we will know by next week whether this time the promise will be fulfilled. And speaking of vice presidents, brings me to the last thing I want to talk about, which is the lame duck presidency and administration of Buhari. Usually, vice presidents will not run for office without the approval or support of their principal. In this case, except for, of course, Atiku and Obasanjo in 2007. But in this case, in a way, with Oshibajo running and not winning, we now have a situation where Buhari has no real successor to his policies, so to speak, especially since he didn't have a hand in the person who has emerged as the flag bearer for his party. In fact, we hear that Aisha Buhari had more of a say in the emergence of Tinubu than her husband did. So what's Buhari going to do? Probably continue living his life as best as he can, flying around and looking after himself and paying no mind to us. And those that need him during the 2023 election will wheel him out and he'll raise up a few hands. In the meantime, all the power, at least around APC, has shifted to Tinubu already. I hope we've learned our lesson. Let it not be said that we cannot sort of join the dots and we vote differently in 2023. Good news, INEC is considering an extension of voter registration. There's so much excitement, people want to register. Please do not be put off by the obstacles. This is your right and a responsibility. So stay focused and get those PVCs. Stay well. That's it for me this week, and see you in the next episode of Political News in 5. Bye.